up your engine! Now, people have always loved Camrys, but the naysayers said, yeah, they last forever, but they're so boring. Well, here's a Camry that's definitely not boring. As we walk around, we can see this Toyota Racing Development Camry is not your average Camry. It's got a nice black and white color scheme, nice black rims, the Toyota Racing Development rims, got dual exhaust, little louver on the back. Now they say they're going to build fewer than 6,000 of these, so everybody can't go get one. But if you're looking for a Camry that's different than your everyday Camry, hey, this is probably the car for you. Let's check under the hood. First thing you're going to notice or not notice, because it has a beauty cover on it, is the D4S V6 engine. Let's get a better look at that. There we go. This thing puts out 301 horsepower. And down in there, it's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now to start with, this engine has the D4S fuel injection system. So, it has both fuel injectors on the intake, as you can see. As we look down here, you can see there's the intake, 1, 2, 3 fuel injectors. The fuel injectors go right in the intake like a conventional engine, but it also has direct fuel injectors with high pressure that spray gas directly into the cylinder. It's a combination of both normal fuel injection on the intake and GDI that go right into the engine. And this isn't just a simpler system of they use the port ones to clean the valves so they don't carbon up like other GDI engines do, and then use the GDI ones just for power. A system that is really well thought out. Certain times it's using the port injector, certain times it's using the main GDI injectors to get the best of power and economy in one system. And yeah, it's super complex, there's no arguing that, but of course this is the Toyota. They're known for reliability. I have yet to see any of these systems break down. They've used them for a little while in the Lexuses. They haven't had any particular problems with them. Unlike, say, GM that has all kinds of problems with their GDI systems. The Toyota, their engineers put a lot of thought into this thing. And yeah, it's complicated, but if it works and lasts a long time, what do you care? And as we go inside, the same thing is true of the automatic transmission. This baby is an 8-speed Toyota automatic transmission. You can put it in automatic mode where it shifts. You can put it in a standard shift mode where you can see the gears there. You can put it in whatever gear you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you probably get tired of that. So instead of shifting it down here, you can use the paddle shifters if you want, up or down. Or, heck, you can leave it in automatic mode, and then you still got 3 choices. For the best gas mods, you can put it on economy. For normal, best pickup and gas economy, or sport with the speediest combination, a little bit worse gas mods, but you get a lot more zip. After all, this is the TRD version. Now, unfortunately, this isn't like the Toyota Supra. It has dual exhaust, but when you push the sport button, it doesn't have a valve that opens up the muffler and makes lots of noise. You'll see, this still sounds quiet. Oh well, you can't have everything. And if you check out the suspension, you'll see it's got more of a racing setup. The front's lower, the back's a little bit higher than the front. Got a classic racing stance. The suspension on this thing has been beefed up by the TRD. Now to begin with, these have TRD specific wheels. These wheels are made for this vehicle and they weigh 3.1 pounds each less than the stock wheels. The lighter the wheels, the better acceleration. You'll have less mass that you're spinning. The TRD also has stiffer anti-roll bars and stiffer springs, so it has a lot less roll characteristics than a normal Camry. It has 44% less roll in the front and 67% less roll in the back compared to the normal Camry. This has a very tight suspension system. Now this does come at a little cost because as you look inside the trunk, still has a big trunk, but as you can see where the back seats are, it's a solid here. Because they made it stronger, when you go back inside, these rear seats don't pop down to have carrying space. So don't get one of these if you want to have to open the trunk, flip it down and carry larger things, because these don't move. These are like an old-fashioned car. There's a firewall back there. The seats do not move forwards. You can't flip them down and put like giant pieces of wood. This isn't a hauling car. But like any other Camry, it's got lots of rooms in the back seat for people. It's a comfy car. And look at the cool red racing stripes and the red seat belts. It sets it off. It also has beefed up brakes too, rear and front. They even painted them to match the car. That looks cool. Although you're gonna have to clean the things, they will get dirty. As you can see as we crawl under, this has a true dual exhaust system. It has a muffler on the left and a muffler on the right. It's not one of those fake ones that has a muffler with two pipes coming out. It's an actual dual exhaust system. And it is finely tuned to get the most power out of this V6 engine. As I said, it puts out 301 horsepower. And it gets decent gas mileage for all that power. It gets 31 on a highway. This particular one's getting 22 in town. Let's close the hood and take it for a spin. Of course, it starts right up. The exhaust is a little bit louder. Nothing outrageous, but it's a little louder than a conventional Camry's going to be. If you want to drive seriously, you can turn the traction control off. Here we go. It's telling you. And I put it on sport mode. There's sport. Let's see how it takes off. Pretty quick. And how does it handle? Nice. Now, granted, it does ride a little bit rougher than a conventional Camry. It's got a stiffer suspension system on it, but it allows it to handle so much better. And as I said, if you wanted to go a little smoother and better gas mileage, you can put it in the economy mode. Then it says economy there. Or you can go to normal mode, you do it on the fly, or you can go to normal mode, or go back to sport mode, where I like it. And I do like turning the traction control off. I know how to drive. If you remember, I unplugged all the traction control on that Shelby Cobra I had years ago with 667 horsepower, and it left my house a week later totally unscathed. I know how to drive. If you don't know how to drive, please leave it on. Save the rest of us. And as per usual, just sitting there idling, it's a pretty quiet car, even with the air conditioning on low. You do hear a little of the muffler rumble. That's what these things are for, with the dual exhaust. All in all, this is not your father's Camry. People complain, oh, great cars run forever, but they're so boring. This is not a boring car. It doesn't look like a boring car. It doesn't drive like a boring car, and it certainly doesn't handle like a boring car. Yet these things start at about $32,000. Not bad for a nice sporty car. This isn't one of those $70, $80, or $150,000 cars, even though it might look like one. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Farmhouse says, love you, Scotty. How good are the BMW Z3 and Z4s? They're very much fun to drive. The straight six-cylinder dual turboed one, if you're getting like a 2020 BMW Z4 that's a twin turbo with 383 horsepower, they are insane driving machines. They are fun to drive. They're fast. But they're BMWs. And the Z4s, they're all made in Austria by Magna-Steyr, the same company that makes the Geladenwagens, the Mercedes G-Wagons. They are very expensive European exotic sports cars. And they are not like, say, a Toyota, where you could buy one and drive it for years and years and spend no money. You will spend a fortune maintaining them, and you will also spend a fortune fixing them with very expensive parts when they break. But they are a lot of fun to drive. If you got a lot of money and you want to throw out, 65 grand for a loaded one, go right ahead, but just heed my warning that they're expensive to maintain and to repair when they do break, and they do break when they get older. Presley Parker says, Scott, I got an 03 Honda Accord. The headliner's loose and sagging. Any suggestions? Those headlines are a stinker to get back up. I've seen pins in them, thumbtacks. Some people try to sew them. Some people try to glue them back in. But really, if you don't care what it looks like, just rip the stupid thing off and leave it off. If you want to have a headliner, my advice is call around some body shops. Body shops always know guys that fix headliners. And here in Houston, I know people that'll fix them for as little as $120. Then just pay the guy to fix it, because they're a pain in the butt to fix yourself. But of course, you can just rip it off and throw it out. I got customers like that, and you see a little foam on the top, but the headliner's gone. It doesn't sag anymore because he ripped it out. Abdullah Mugai says, should I buy an electric car or gas car? Okay, how far are you driving? If you don't drive more than 20 miles a day, go ahead and get an electric car if you don't mind plugging it and recharging it. And you want to, you're going to pay an awful lot of money for them because they're not cheap. They're not giving them away. My advice is if you can buy an electric car, wait a few years. To give you an example, there's a Chinese electric SUV that with the tax write-offs that you get credit and stuff are $9,800. They don't sell them yet in the United States, but eventually they're going to. Okay, that's $9,800 for an electric electric Chinese SUV. Tesla's electric SUV is like $80,000. So wait till the Chinese start selling them over here. Then buy one of theirs. You'll be a lot happier. They're just electric motors and batteries. Anybody can build them. They're not that hard to build. They're a lot simpler than gasoline engines with very fancy 10-speed automatic transmissions. Electric cars don't even have transmissions. They just have electric motors. They are very simple. They're not that complex. Tesla's made them complex because he wanted to, but you don't have to. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.